Is search engine optimization still worth it in 2025? The answer might shock you. It's shocking. That's how shocking it is. You need to raise your tone and say shocking. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting video today. We'll be talking about search engine optimization, what's happening to search engine optimization in 2025, should you do it, and a bunch of other things, including the AI part of things and what's happening with the robots there. That's going to be interesting. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Jordan Parker. This is my 5th company that I'm running. The first 3 failed miserably. The 4th one was very successful. And now I'm helping creators make their own money. And search engine optimization is one way you can get new people to subscribe to your email list, where you can send them a good bunch of emails and then send them all the cool shit you make. Anyway, let's talk search engine optimization and the grim picture of search engine optimization in 2025. It's completely dead. Because look at this graph here. This graph obviously shows a flat line. This is because this blog is completely dead. Also, this was, not that great of a blog because it had like 21 users, and it's just an experiment from a friend of mine who stopped working on it like 2-3 months ago. So this kind of describes the lack of traffic, but that is proof for search engine optimization being dead. Which it isn't. Anyway, I'm starting with this because everyone is like, oh, look at this graph of me going up or me going down, and then this is proof that one or the other point is the be-all end-all, and I don't want to actually say that. When it comes to search engine optimization, things are a lot more nuanced than just saying, is it working or is it not working? The question isn't, can it work? The answer to that is always yes, because as long as people use search engines, appearing on those search engines can be very profitable. The question is it worth it for you? This is a much more important question to answer, and one that I want to answer right now. So when we're thinking about search engine optimization, we have to think about Google, obviously, because Google gets the majority of search traffic, and it always has gotten the majority of search traffic. But Google has been steering away from what they initially became to be. Like they initially wanted you to write something. Let's see, I don't know, I want an exercise bike, and this is the kind of the optimal way Google should look like. Obviously, that's not always what it looks like, and we have this section here, and I also have an ad blocker and a bunch of things making it very difficult. But if we open up, let's do Safari for this one, because I don't think I have an ad blocker there, and let's use a private window so it can't do much with my data. It still does some tracking, but it's less. So if we do exercise bike, same idea. Okay, this one is reasonably fine. But what you see on search pages, and we'll get to some more examples here, there's some problems that are immediately visible here. The first thing is obviously this big section. I'm looking for an exercise bike. The goal of a search engine is to give me what I'm looking for and not for what I might be looking for. Obviously, this is fine. Like, this is not necessarily a big problem, but importantly, for you as the person owning a website, this is a big problem, because this is Sport Depot's website, and this is a Bulgarian one. It's still tracking me. So it's using my IP address for whatever reason. Okay, we can use a VPN to fix that. Anyway, the point is, this is still a big issue for you as a business owner, because when you look at that, this is not information that Google provides. This is not information that Google created. This is other websites. So what's happening is Google is taking your website. So for example, it's taking Quora. It's getting all of the information from Quora and then giving me that information, which is fine if you're a consumer. If you're using Google, that's kind of handy. But if you're the person creating the content, that absolutely sucks. Because why would I click this button if Google actually does a decent job at giving me the information? And believe me, their AI is on a very good level right now. Those results are getting better and better as time passes by. They're better at picking quotes. They're better at doing all of this stuff. So this is actually one big issue. Like, even if you are on one of the first pages of Google, which is pretty difficult, you will be penalized by the fact that Google is trying to basically scrape your website and give your data immediately to people. So they stay on Google and they don't go on your website. And if people stay on Google, that's great for Google because they show more ads and make more money, but it's not great for you because you don't get to show your ads and make money. Like, this is obviously not perfect. Let's refresh and see what we get here. Oh wait, this is reader mode. Let's see what we get if we go in from the US. Would we see something different? Because depending on which country you visit the platform from, you will see very different results. But let's see. What's going on? Why is this slow? So it's back. All right, let this thing load in the background and I'll speak in the meantime. So what's happening is, what Google realized as they started acquiring the majority of people's search traffic is that all of this traffic is very valuable. So what they do is they sell ad spots. So if you're on Google, you can advertise on Google, you can buy one of those first spots, you can buy sidebars and a bunch of other placements of advertisements. This is fine, but this creates a very obvious clash between Google's business model and search engine optimization. If you do search engine optimization, you are actively trying to get more traffic from Google, and what Google makes money from is from getting more traffic from you. So it's a very, very obvious clash, and this is going to be a big problem eventually. Right now, it's possible, but it could be way worse. Oh, why is this thing not working? That's weird. Maybe my VPN is down, which is weird. This thing usually works. See? We disconnected and it's fine. Weird. Anyway, so knowing all of that, this specific predicament is a very, very big issue, because that means that in the grand scheme of things, if we look far enough in the journey, Google would have to either rebuild their business model fundamentally, or they'll get basically so much of the traffic that it's going to be pointless. That being said, understanding that doesn't change reality. The reality is Google is still a very, 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 very tempting source of revenue. So it's not like it doesn't work. It's just like the whole economics behind it might be flawed, but this is a long-term problem. It's not a right-now problem. Almost. We'll get into the actual problem that Google will be facing in a second. So the thing is, even if you are, essentially being screwed by Google, that doesn't change the fact that if you are number 2 or number 1 here, you're going to get tens of thousands of clicks every month that you would otherwise not get. So being in a very high spot in Google is actually very useful, because the higher you rank, the more clicks you get, even though it's just a tiny percentage. It's like they take, like, Google searches end up like 64% or like 60 to 70% of the time, I don't remember the number, without a click. So people just open the search page, they see what they need, and they close the search page. So this is very problematic, but we're talking about Google here. You need to realize the scale of all of this, because the amount of searches going every day, this is not working, but the amount of searches going every day on Google is stupidly high. Like, we're talking about millions and millions of search queries every single minute, and we're talking about a very huge number of people searching. So even though you will very likely not be getting a big enough chunk of this traffic, you'll be getting enough from it, most likely, for this to make sense for you. So is it worth being on Google? The answer, unfortunately, because I don't like this as a business model, commitment and everything, is yes. But that's not all. Let's see if this one works. Maybe ARC will be... No, there's some DNS problem. Anyway, not critical for this video. Anyhow, the problem we get is that there is a competitor in town. There is a way to change search even more than Google did. Probably more, like, this is what we're guessing, in 10 years more. Right now, questionable, like, we're not sure. But the competitor is AI, obviously. So when we go to AI can search the web for us. So you go to Perplexity, for example, and you ask it something, say, exercise bike, and it is going to go and Google stuff for you. Like, they're not necessarily using Google behind the scenes. I frankly don't know what they're using. Most likely Google, to be honest. But basically, they're searching instead of you. And what you're getting from the AI is the results of that search, but you don't actually have to go and click through everything. You don't have to parse everything. The necessity of that, and why this is becoming so convenient, is because most content on Google is shit. Like, this is reality. Search engine optimization is a very good way to make sure the content is amazing for Google. It's amazing for the robot that Google uses to parse it and to understand it, but it makes it very shitty for humans. Like you go on a cooking website, how do I cook lasagna? The first, 1,000 words are, what is lasagna? What are the origins of lasagna? And you're like, I just want the recipe. And this applies to pretty much every single thing on Google, because this is what the platform has enforced. People want to be seen, that people want the traffic that Google has, and they're doing whatever Google does just so they can get ahead. And a lot of people obviously are exploiting this and pushing this to its very limits. We had a bunch of things about keywords. We got a bunch of things with, people just writing articles that just repeated the word 17 billion times. We used to have a bunch of keyword drops in the meta tags, ages ago, and so on and so forth. So there has been a lot of developments there. But all in all, it always has been a way you can kind of stand out from this. But you're standing out in the eyes of a robot, in the eyes of an algorithm. Ironically, right now you need to stand out in the eye of this robot, which is a different robot. This uses OpenAI. I currently have it on Clothes, Model, whatever, and they are using one of the open source ones from Meta, whatever. But in any case, they're using some AI again, so it's a different robot that you're trying to impress here. But what we're starting to see with AI search engines is, one, that they don't want to give you shitty data, because right now everyone needs to get into AI. The AI companies are burning a lot of money for us to give us AI that cheaply. AI is way more expensive than that, but for this to work and for us to get very hooked on AI and everyone starts using it, it's very useful, so it makes sense. But at the same time, for everyone to start using it, it needs to continue to be useful. So AIs will be very critical of search results, and they'll try to filter out stuff that simply doesn't solve my problem, because that's in their best interest. Otherwise, I will stop using their search AI thingy, and I will not be paying them, and that's not great for a new company. Perplexity is right now worth a stupid amount of money. But anyway, so what happens right now is that the market force towards Google fixing their ways is very weak, because everyone wants to be on Google, no matter what they do. But the market force towards those competitors of Google is very strong. We want those things to be good. There's so much competition, so they have to improve. The result of that is that basically those will start creating better data than Google, and they already are. People are preferring AI searches to Google. We've seen that trend, people searching on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube instead of Google, which is a whole other kind of can of worms. But this is even better because you don't even need to think about it. You just write this thing, you burn 2 trees so the AI can do this query for you and click 5 times instead of you. Very funny. But then you get the results, and they're actually less bad than the ones you get in Google. And here you can even give it instructions like cut all the fluff, remove all of the empty space, compress the information, give me only the essentials. You can actually instruct the AI on how you want to get the information, so you don't need to read the history of lasagna to actually get the recipe, because that makes zero sense. So essentially, this creates a better search engine. Now, what that means is that the search engine game is very likely to change in the next couple of months or years. I frankly have no idea when. I need a lot more information and to talk to 1,000 people to actually give you the exact number, and even that would be a mediocre guess at best, because guessing is not people's forte. But in any case, the thing that you need to understand is that your website will always have some sort of a search engine that can find it and serve it to people. So creating useful stuff for people is always a good play. And a lot of the stuff that Google uses, like your domain reputation, aka how much other people think highly of you and the link to your website, and how high quality of your content is, those are just natural things that any sort of search engine will add. So what that means for you as a business owner is that if you're creating good content, you should continue creating good content. You should find an effective way to create good content that allows you to publish it on your website, in emails, on social media, repurpose every single idea as much as you humanly can, because people won't read it everywhere. They don't have that much time, and frankly, no one is stalking you on every single social media. Some people will follow you on Instagram, some people will follow you on Facebook because they're 90, some people will follow you on YouTube, some people will follow you somewhere else. It doesn't matter. So you repurpose every single idea as much as you can to get the most amount of jewels that every single idea has, and to give people the most reminders, because a lot of the time we don't really need another new idea, we just need a bunch of reminders for old ideas, which is essentially what people do browsing online. But anyway, if you do that, that means that creating content on your own website as well can be pretty straightforward and a pretty low-hanging fruit. And if you do it that way, I frankly think this is a great idea. If you just want to play the SEO game, I frankly don't think you should be bothering this year, because there are better ways to invest your time, energy, and money. If you are dead set on playing the SEO game, then you should research heavily utilizing AI for it, because this is content that people frankly will not read, because it's like they'll read 5% of it, because the majority of it is garbage. And you can sit down and create an AI that creates all of the robot required content, so your article can rank. You can do all of the other stuff like creating backlinks, creating those relationships and playing the SEO game fully, and you will be able to scale off of SEO entirely. If you want, that's fine, that's possible, and then you can basically take people from your SEO stuff, put them on an email list, and actually write decent stuff and write decent emails. That's feasible. I don't think this is the solution for most people. I think most people would be like, most creators would prefer to create their own content instead of relying on AI at scale. If that's you, don't just write normal content, repurpose some of it to your blog, or just write specific blog post content and then repurpose it somewhere else. That's perfectly fine. If you're into the automation game, if you're looking for this, then sure, play the SEO game. That's fine. That can work. But just keep in mind the volume. The biggest difference that I'm seeing from last year, except, like all of the recent changes, but those are pretty constant on Google. The biggest change is volume is basically increasing. Like, it was okay doing, I don't know, one article per week in like 2010. Now you're looking at several articles per day or something like this. Like, my suggestion is that this bar is going to raise to that level, and you should be looking for ways you can effectively, not essentially, effectively publish multiple articles per day at a very large scale, which hopefully are not garbage. And like, this is the hardest part. Like, yes, you can use AI to help you, but you need to navigate the AI. You need to write good prompts. You need to understand the subject matter reasonably well, and you need to edit after the AI. And if you do this at a high amount, with a high amount of volume, then yes, this can work really well. You can land some of the hard spots on Google, and you can play the SEO game very effectively. If that's not your piece of cake, which it won't be for most creators, then do YouTube. There's SEO on YouTube, by the way, and it's amazing. And if you don't want to do YouTube, then tough luck. SEO on YouTube is amazing. By the way, I say CEO instead of SEO. I might have said that, just, weird thing. Anyway, English very hard. Me no English man, so very hard English. Okay. So if you want to do search engine optimization, I would suggest either high quality content and then growing less fast in terms of search engine optimization, but being more future proof, if that's an option for you. And if you don't want to do that, you do YouTube. YouTube is amazing. YouTube, you can do search engine optimization. You can do it very, very effectively. And like, you simply need to answer questions that people have. You don't need to do something super fancy. You don't need some sort of a super special, super secret strategy. You just answer questions that people have. And generally, if you pick the questions so they're not the most popular things on YouTube, you'll get a bunch of traffic for them. Like, it is stupidly more easy compared to standard SEO. And yes, there's a bunch of more things you can do to make it even better. But even if you do the basics and if you do them, daily or 2-3 times weekly, you'll be fine. Like, you will get traffic. That traffic you can turn to money, and then you can pay an expert to actually optimize everything for you. That's perfectly okay. So yeah, SEO in 2025, I believe that is something that has potential, but you should be very careful how you implement it for your business so you don't hate yourself at the end, because that's the big part of it. It is not as fun as like, business is just more fun now. Like, we have access to social media and content, and there is so much more fun ways you can spend your time in your business, which is something that I very much value. And if you do want some of those, I would suggest taking those, because they're, just give you a better day-to-day experience. But if you really want to maximize every single cent, then get there, do hardcore search engine optimization. You can get results. If you're good, you can get really good results, and that's fine as well. So yeah, I hope that's useful. Get in my newsletter. It's called Creator Income, and I talk about everything related to creator income. It's super good, and I have to say this because otherwise the author will be very mad, which is myself, and that becomes a big mess. But yeah, creator income is amazing. Join the newsletter. It is very fun. I'll send you a bunch of welcome emails. It's absolutely free. I even am currently gamifying the whole thing, so I can give every one of my products for free to people who are playing my game, so to speak. It's gonna be very fun. So if you want that, join. If you don't want that, bye.